Okay.
Good. All right, we'll call this meeting to order and let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay, do we should do a roll call?
Okay, Cameron Christensen. Here. April Crime. Here. Lisa Jenkins. Tom Reynolds.
Here.
Meredith Ryan. Here. Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, we'll open it up for public forum. If anybody has any comments or things they'd like to say that are not on the agenda, now is the time.
I do want to acknowledge real quick, John Gill in the yellow shirt is a potential for an alternate, so he's coming to observe what we're doing tonight.
Hey, John. Great. So now the next order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from April 2nd. We all had a chance to review those. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
And we'll turn it over to Fred.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. For the record, my name is Fred Cornelius with Wade Trip, serving as your contractor planner this evening. So this might be familiar. What we have for you tonight, similar to what we had with you last month in April. It's for a subdivision here at the Grove, and they are, in this case, they're looking to amend the development agreement. The Grove already has a development agreement with the town to implement the lot and architectural design standards specific for that development as well. So I'll go through a short PowerPoint in the atmosphere and then give you more details if you need them. Next, please. So just, I'm sure everybody knows, but just to remind everybody, this is the Grove subdivision. It's there on East Oakland Avenue at Catherine Ross Road. It was approved, the development agreement was approved by the town commission in January of 2022, under ordinance 22-26. And it is, again, it's 44 single family homes. That was the plan that was approved by the town commission back then, and that is what they're moving forward. I'm sure you're all aware, construction has begun there. They're starting the site development. They do have all their permits in place, both from the town and all the other agencies that are required on permitting. So the project is moving forward. Just so everybody's aware that the design district it's in is in the traditional neighborhood design district. Next, please. So the applicant is New Horizon Investments LLC. And again, they have run into the similar problem that we had at Private Farm. I just came to you last month. Again, the town design standards, very good intent, everything behind is good, but it is very difficult to implement. As I said before, there's some inconsistencies and things that just don't work. And when we're looking at these kind of developments, the implementation, it really, they severely restrict that kind of development. So again, discussion we had with Mr. Scala, who's here, who's New Horizons, similar that we have a private farm. He said this was the right way to go forward. Proposed development standards, architectural standards, and have the town go through the town approval process and ultimately get it approved by the town commission for them then to follow with development. So that is what they're doing. It's also important to understand there's nothing else changing with the development. There's no change to the layout, no change to the number of lots or anything else in that development agreement. Everything in that development agreement stays as is. The only change would be is adopting these design standards if they would be to adopt for that. So again, this is very similar to what you saw before. Similar to before, what they've done is identified 4 different lot types within their subdivision. And again, you know, looking at kind of the characteristics of the lot, their location, and for each of those 4 different lot types, A, B, C, and D, providing specific design standards and layouts for the lots for that. So same kind of approach that we had in Bradley Farm, we have here, where they identify the different lots and the different lot types. Next, please. This one, I'm going to show you the lot. So those are the 4 lot types. And they're in the the standard. So what you see, what it does is for each of the lot types, it provides the setbacks and it provides the arrangement of the structures on the building to best fit and to work within the development. An important note too, just so you all are aware, I'll go back real quick to Bradley Farm. When this Bradley Farm went to town commission didn't approve for the outbuildings a 5-foot side setback. They wanted them to be at 7.5. So this does show it at 7.5. So the changes that happened in Bradley Farm from the town commission are reflected here as well. So this has the same 7.5-foot setback for these lots, which is actually your standard setback anyhow on your side setbacks. It also has the 20-foot front setback. The biggest difference of what we have when we look at this is just, you know, where the outbuildings are placed and the parking and things like that. But because this is integrated into a development, it's all together, it's designed together, it's unified. It's not just scattered around. So those are the 4 lot types. In terms of the architecture, again, you saw this before, but this is much less. They're proposing 2 architectural styles for the houses within the community. The first is the Florida vernacular. And then next, please. And the second is the French farmhouse. Those would be the 2 architectural standards and styles by which they would be developing. In the document that you have, the actual document, they have all the specifics about the design. Again, all of that's the applicants explain any of those specific design characteristics that are in the document. But that's the intent of that. So just those 2 styles. This one also has an additional part, and it's for their entry sign to their subdivision. So in your land development code, residential subdivision entry signs are limited to a maximum square foot of 32 square feet. One of the challenges in your land development code, it doesn't define how you measure the area of a sign, which is a little bit unique. So one of the things that we did when we looked at this is we measured it 2 ways. The first way, what we felt was the most appropriate, is we took the area of the Grove lettering on the top of the sign and put a box around it that enclosed those letters, came up with that area, took the base of it where the letters are on the base, took that total base and got the total square footage of 44 square feet. Actually 44.8 square feet based on that calculation. That's why this is in this application. We want to be sure that the town is comfortable with that sign. Now I did do another calculation, which is another way you could do it. Is just looking at the lettering and don't include that base wall as part of that calculation. So if you just do the lettering on the Grove and then the smaller lettering that's on the wall, that comes out to about just under 24 square feet, 24.9 square feet. And then the logo that would be on the column, that's about 3 square feet, a little bit over 3 square feet. So because that isn't fully compliant with your code, that's why we have this part of that for the town to approve that size of the sign. I did actually, before the meeting today, went and measured the signs here on Oakland, on Longleaf and out here. You know, Winter's Landing a little bit different. It's got the large entry wall than the smaller sign there. Down here at Longleaf, a little bit more similar with kind of that entry feature with the letter with it on top. They're slightly smaller than this, but not significantly different in terms of those sizes of those signs. So that's the request for this as well. Next, please. So after tonight, depending on your recommendation, it'll go to the Planning and Zoning Board on May 23rd. And then it'll go to the Town Commission on June 11th and June 25th for the final decision on these design standards. Finally, as your staff, we have reviewed it. We do think it is consistent with the character of the town and consistent with what the town has been doing. I think it's also beneficial both to the town and to the applicant because now we have standards that we can implement together that are clear and we understand what's going to happen that way. So we do recommend approval of this request. I'll be happy to try to answer questions you have for me. And again, the applicants to get other questions.
Are there different elevations within the architectural styles? Sort of only two styles that I.
There's only two general styles, but I believe in.
So like the Portland armor, they may be one style, but there's like 5, 6 different styles of homes that could be built around the actual name of Florida vernacular.
Okay.
Same, yes, absolutely. It would not be the same at all.
Okay.
So each home will be different. Just because it's called Florida vernacular, it's not gonna be the same. There's no two houses the same.
Correct.
Also clarify, the columns, where the Grove sign is going, there's no columns there. The columns are at the entrances in Portland Avenue.
Yes,
So those are separate from the main, character of the Grove.
This larger kind of standalone fee.
There will be a Captain Ross.
Off of Catherine Ross, so across from the fire station.
Okay.
And then they'll,
That like here or
yes, sir, correct,
Yes.
correct.
it'd be like at this entrance?
Yes, sir. And then as Mr. Scarlett said, the columns would be at the entrance there on Oakland Avenue.
Oakland Avenue. And is the sign gonna say Grove or the?
Grove,
It's Grove.
GRO, yes. Without the THE.
If you were to size it down to a size that would fit within our current standards, is it not legible? Like, what is the reasoning, I guess, perhaps to go larger?
Well, it's how we describe in the actual letters. There's 2 ways of reading it. We thought we were undersized.
Right.
So to find out, it's been depicted in a different way, which is an illusion of an oversized, but when we designed it, we thought we were undersized. It's a 24, which is a 32. That's what they call the criteria. We thought we were at 24.
Yeah.
So it's how you measure the actual letters.
What is the size of the letters?
Sure, and it's on there. So the height of the word grove is 1 foot, 10.5 inches. So they're not very large. The length of it's 12 feet of the grove. And then the smaller letters that are on the wall, they're so small, the numbers are small. It's, the at the is 2.4 inches. And it's about 1 foot and 3 inches across. The harvest district is 3 point.
Concerned about the large.
Yeah, so the large is really, it's only about 1 foot high, the letters. Let's say 2 feet. It's about 2 feet high are the letters.
You said you compared that to Longleaf.
It's slightly larger than that, but it's not significantly different.
It says here, there'll be lights and planter beds shining on it, is that right?
Yes.
Right, yeah, in terms of how we'll install it, it'll all be compliant with the town code. It requires the lights to be within the planter beds, not shining out. So that's all.
Is it facing the fire department or is it facing an avenue?
It's the part of it.
Yeah,
So you really wouldn't see it Oakland Avenue.
no, no.
So there's a review board that's part of this development. Do they review every house or what?
We have an internal review. It's an outside source that we hire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll have an HOA review board and similar to Oakland Park as well as Bradley Farm, it'll go through its own internal review process prior to it coming to us here at the town. So we'll have a back check on the design, make sure everything's fine.
Is there a timeline with this development? Like how long it will take?
So moving right now, he's moving forward.
I know. I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the plat for the subdivision's in process right now as well, so it's moving forward.
Yeah, that is.
May I ask just for my, since I'm new to this, the 44 lots, I understand we're part of the original layout and now we're just continuing with the exact same 44. What are the changes for us to review that are different, I guess?
So what happens is in your land development code, I'd be happy to talk to you more
Yeah.
too about it. is you have very specific design standards in your land development code in Article 3 for houses. And it gets very, very specific. And the easiest example I can get where we run into issues, the way your code is structured for houses, there's three components. You have the base house,
Mhm.
then you have
Other structures.
components, then you have attachments. And certain things can connect to certain things, but not other things. But if you go and you read it, disconnect sometimes.
I was just concerned on our end, like, how do we fix that, right? So that we're not in this place for you
Right.
every time.
So I and Stephanie and the town manager, we've had this discussion on the bigger picture. And we believe there is a need to come back and reassess that and clean that up. Because I think really what I think happened when we looked into this, and this really came to light under the Bradley Farm discussion, was there's pictures that depict what the houses and the things should be. The words that were written don't match the pictures. And that's where a lot of the concern comes in, because the pictures show it one way, but the words say another way. And why we didn't make this project, the other project, wait to fix it. It could address all kinds of other issues that really don't have anything to do with either of these projects.
Understood. Just wanna make sure.
That's why we're doing it. Yeah. So I'd be happy.
I just had one more question. It says here in the vision statement that this development will have incorporate meeting zones and water features, creating a tranquil and serene environment. What are those on, are those down here or?
All of feature just a fountain in the back. We have a wet fountain in the back. And it has a fountain in the center
Okay,
with a deck for people to sit there and enjoy the view.
that's not really, it's not showing. here.
That's not showing there.
No. Right. The diagram in that is just showing how the lots are identified.
And so that's like a gazebo or some kind of a meeting
We
structure.
have gazebos as well. We have, sidewalks that walk from one end to the other. And people can sit down. We have benches in certain spots.
In the PowerPoint, that basically that first slide, that what Mr. Scott is speaking about is this pond area here in the bottom corner of the development. That would be that amenity.
It's quite, pond is pretty big.
It's already there.
Being
Being built up right now.
constructed.
Cool.
See it on the actual design. There's two ponds. There's a wet pond, we call it a dry pond.
Yeah. Okay.
Just for the board knows also, Mr. Scott is working with the town. There's a little bit of a lot of land swap for the Captain Ross extension, which that's already been gone through with that as well, on that general area. So.
I'm assuming each homeowner gets to meet with your designer, pick out their finishes, and you go from there.
So the design comes from the design of the designs of homes, so they meet with the client, they do their wish list, and then it has to go to us.
Okay.
For approval, and then from us, it goes to them as well.
And it includes these
Yes.
that you've already shown us here. Okay.
Another thing I want to point out, and I should have done it in my presentation, important, accessory dwelling units.
Yeah. I saw that.
It's changed from what you saw last, so it still speaks to it. But now there's language in what you have before you, and now it's in Bradley Farm as well. That prohibits those from being like permanent dwellings. It prohibits any kind of cooking facility within them. It also explicitly says they're for the use of the owners of the home, their guests and family, can't be leased or rented out separately from the home. So those protections are now put in there where it can't turn into a secondary full-time dwelling unit. It's truly accessory to the primary. And that language is what you have before you tonight as well.
Any other questions, you guys? Okay, ready to move forward? Or? Does anybody have any public comment about anything we're talking about? Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
I second that.
All right, all in favor of approving the. I'll try to get it right, the grow design guidelines that we just discussed. Say aye. Aye.
You haven't.
I was gonna maybe give an update on Bradley Farm, just so, if you all would like to know the update on Bradley Farm. It's going to its final hearing with the town commission next week, next Tuesday. And at the first hearing with town commission, they made 3 changes, which are reflected in what you just recommended approval on as well. As I spoke about, is the side setbacks on accessory buildings all now 7.5 feet. When you all saw it, they were at 5 feet. Now, the exception is the Frankel's 8 lots. The Daniels Cove piece, it still stays at 5 because those are much smaller lots, narrow lots, but the other are all 7.5, which is what the motion of the commission was. The other change was the accessory dwelling units that we just spoke about. And then the third change was, if you may remember, they had a Bahamian
West Indies.
sexual style. It did not go well.
Heard all about it.
Design guidelines, so that's not. So those are the 3 changes that they made. This one, so y'all would know what happened. Thank you.
These will be some beautiful homes.
You guys have any questions on, happy to answer anything which you're gonna ask.
Yeah.
Projects. If you have.
All right. I think that's it, right? Anything else? Yeah, let's adjourn the meeting. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.